Person does not miss you because you chase them harder. They miss you when they feel the silence of your absence and recognize the value of your presence. But most people make one mistake that destroys attraction without even realizing it. Today, I will show you the deeper wisdom behind creating space, respect, and emotional impact, so you can become someone whose presence is truly felt, even when you are not around. My today's promise with you. In this message, you will learn the inner principles of self-respect, emotional discipline, and quiet strength that make a person naturally value and miss you, not through manipulation, but through becoming a person of true worth. 1. Stop chasing attention and start building your inner value. There is a mistake many people make when they deeply care about someone. They believe that the more they give, the more they prove, and the more they chase, the more valuable they will become in another person's eyes. But life does not work this way. When you constantly chase attention, you slowly teach another person that your energy is always available. You show them that they do not need to make an effort because you are already there, waiting, explaining, proving, and seeking their approval. A person who always runs behind something forgets one important truth. What you chase loses its mystery. What you respect within yourself becomes valuable. Human beings naturally value what carries meaning. A rare diamond is valuable because it is not found everywhere. A peaceful mind is valuable because it is not easily created. A person with strong character is valuable because they do not change themselves just to be accepted. The same principle applies to relationships. If you want someone to recognize your value, the first step is not making them notice you. The first step is learning to notice yourself. Many people ask, how can I make someone miss me? But a wiser question is, have I become someone worth missing? Because missing someone is not created by constant messages, endless explanations, or trying to remind someone of your existence. Missing someone is created when their presence has meaning. Think about a person who brings peace into your life, a person who listens without judgment, a person who has confidence without arrogance, a person who loves deeply but does not lose themselves in love. When that person is gone, you feel the difference. You do not miss their messages. You miss the feeling they brought into your life. This is where many people misunderstand attraction and connection. They focus on getting attention, but they forget about becoming memorable. A person with inner value does not ask, how do I make them choose me? They ask, how do I become someone who naturally deserves respect? This shift changes everything. When your life becomes centered around another person's attention, you give them control over your emotions. If they reply quickly, you feel happy. If they become distant, you feel anxious. If they show interest, you feel worthy. If they ignore you, you start questioning yourself. But your worth should never depend on someone's temporary behavior. A mountain does not become smaller because someone refuses to look at it. The sun does not lose its light because someone closes their eyes. Your value exists before someone recognizes it. The strongest people understand this. They do not beg others to see their importance. They build themselves so deeply that their presence speaks before their words do. This does not mean becoming cold. It does not mean pretending not to care. It means caring without losing yourself. There is a difference between love and attachment. Love says, I appreciate you, but I still stand firmly within myself. Attachment says, I need you to choose me, otherwise I feel incomplete. When you come from attachment, you create pressure. When you come from inner peace, you create respect. Imagine holding sand in your hand. If you squeeze too tightly because you are afraid of losing it, the sand slips away between your fingers. But if you hold it gently, with awareness and calmness, you can appreciate it. Relationships are similar. The more desperately you try to control someone's feelings, the more you create distance. But when you develop yourself, your confidence, your purpose, and your peace, people begin to feel a different energy from you. They sense that you are not empty without them. They sense that your life has meaning beyond their attention. And this is where true attraction begins. A person who has built inner value does not need to announce their worth. They show it through their actions. They respect their own time. They protect their own peace. They do not accept disrespect just because they fear losing someone. They do not constantly explain themselves to people who have already decided not to understand. They do not chase someone who walks away because they understand something powerful. The person who abandons their own value to keep someone else will eventually lose both. Many people spend years trying to become someone's priority while ignoring the fact that they have stopped being a priority in their own life. They forget their dreams, they neglect their growth, they stop improving themselves, they become focused only on one question: does this person still want me? But a stronger question is, do I still respect the person I have become? Your relationship with yourself creates the foundation for every other relationship. If you constantly criticize yourself, you will seek validation everywhere. If you do not believe you are enough, you will accept people who make you feel less. If you are afraid of being alone, you will tolerate things that disturb your peace. But when you develop self-respect, something changes. You no longer chase love from a place of emptiness. You share love from a place of fullness. This is the difference between someone who needs attention and someone who naturally attracts it. The world responds differently to people who know their own worth. They walk differently, they speak differently, they carry themselves differently. Not because they think they are better than others, but because they are no longer fighting against themselves. Remember this: a person who values themselves teaches others how to value them. If you constantly show that you will accept anything, people learn that your boundaries have no strength. But when you stand with calm confidence, people understand that your presence is something meaningful. The goal is not to make someone afraid of losing you. The goal is to become someone they would naturally feel the absence of. Because true value does not create fear. It creates appreciation. And appreciation is much stronger than temporary attention. When you stop chasing attention and start building yourself, something surprising happens. You no longer need to convince people to notice you. Your growth becomes visible. Your peace becomes attractive. Your energy becomes different. And sometimes, the moment you stop running after someone is the moment they begin to wonder why you are no longer running. But this leads us to a deeper lesson. Because even after you understand your value, there is another powerful force that determines whether someone truly feels your absence. It is not your words, it is not your explanations, it is something much quieter. It is the power of what happens when you are no longer always available. 2. The power of silence. Why your absence creates reflection. Silence is one of the most misunderstood powers in human relationships. Many people think silence means punishment. They think silence means ignoring someone to make them suffer. But true silence is not about controlling another person. True silence is about controlling yourself. A person with inner strength understands that not every situation requires an immediate reaction. Not every emotion needs to be expressed instantly. Not every thought needs to be explained. Sometimes the greatest message you can give is the peace you create when you stop trying to force understanding. When someone is always present, people can sometimes become unaware of their value, not because they are not valuable, but because humans often become comfortable with what they constantly receive. Think about the air you breathe. You rarely think about it because it is always there. But when something changes, you suddenly recognize its importance. Presence works in a similar way. When you are always available, always responding, always trying to fix everything, people may stop noticing the effort behind your presence. Your energy becomes something they expect instead of something they appreciate. Silence creates a moment of awareness. It gives space for reflection. It allows someone to experience the difference between having your presence and not having it. But remember, silence should never come from anger. Anger-driven silence says, "I want you to suffer because you hurt me." Wisdom-driven silence says, "I respect myself enough to step back and protect my peace." One comes from weakness, the other comes from strength. The most powerful people are not those who can create the loudest reactions. They are those who can remain calm when emotions try to control them. Imagine someone who receives a message that hurts them. The first reaction may be to respond immediately, to explain, to defend, to ask questions, to demand answers. But sometimes reacting from emotion gives away your power, because in that moment, the other person is controlling your state of mind. A person who has mastered themselves pauses. They observe, they breathe, they choose their response instead of becoming a prisoner of their reaction. This is emotional discipline. And emotional discipline is attractive because it shows maturity. People are naturally drawn toward those who carry stability. Someone who is constantly seeking reassurance creates pressure. Someone who carries peace creates comfort. Silence allows your character to speak. When you step back, people do not only notice your absence, they notice what your presence represented. They remember the conversations, they remember the support, they remember the energy you brought. They begin to compare the feeling of having you around with the feeling of your absence. This is why silence can be powerful, not because it forces someone to come back, but because it reveals reality. If someone truly values you, space gives them the opportunity to recognize it. If someone does not value you, space gives you the clarity to see it. Both outcomes give you wisdom, because the purpose of silence is not to manipulate someone into missing you. The purpose of silence is to return to yourself. Many people are afraid of silence because silence forces them to face their own thoughts. When everything becomes quiet, they discover what they have been avoiding. They realize how much energy they spent trying to control another person. They realize how much they sacrificed just to receive small pieces of attention. And this realization becomes a turning point, because when you stop filling every empty space with another person, you begin filling your own life again. You return to your goals. You return to your passions. You return to the person you were before you became lost in seeking someone else's approval. This is the hidden power of absence. It does not only affect the other person, it transforms you. A person who learns to be comfortable with their own company becomes powerful. They no longer fear being alone. They no longer chase people who do not choose them. They no longer measure their worth through someone else's actions. They become complete, and a complete person does not beg to be remembered. They create memories through the way they live. Remember, the strongest presence is sometimes felt most deeply when it becomes quiet. Silence is not about disappearing to get attention. It is about stepping back so your own light can become visible again. When you stop chasing and start growing, people see a difference. When you stop demanding and start understanding, people feel a difference. When you stop losing yourself and start respecting yourself, people recognize a difference, because the most unforgettable people are not those who constantly ask to be noticed. They are those whose energy remains even after they leave. And this is the deeper truth. The person who can stand peacefully in their own silence becomes someone whose presence is never easily replaced. 3. Detachment is not losing love, it is regaining your power. Many people misunderstand detachment. When they hear the word detachment, they imagine becoming cold, distant, or emotionless. They think it means they should stop caring, stop loving, or stop feeling anything. But true detachment is not the absence of love. True detachment is the absence of fear. It is the moment when you can love someone deeply without allowing your entire happiness to depend on their actions. Because the greatest loss in any relationship is not losing another person. The greatest loss is losing yourself while trying to keep them. Many people enter relationships carrying a hidden fear. The fear of being abandoned, the fear of not being enough, the fear that if they stop trying, stop chasing, or stop proving their love, the other person will leave. So they begin to hold tighter. They check more, they question more, they seek more reassurance. But there is a truth that life teaches again and again. The tighter you hold something out of fear, the more you create the energy of losing it. A flower does not grow faster because you pull on its petals. A tree does not become stronger because you constantly touch its roots. Growth requires space, and human connection also requires space. A healthy relationship is not built by two people who are afraid of losing each other. It is built by two people who choose each other freely. This is the wisdom of detachment. You do not detach because you do not care. You detach because you care enough to respect reality. You understand that every person has their own choices, their own emotions, and their own journey. You cannot control another person's heart. You cannot force someone to appreciate you. You cannot convince someone to see your value if they have chosen not to see it. But you can control one thing: your own mind, your own actions, your own peace. A person with inner strength does not wake up every day asking, "Do they still want me?" They wake up asking, "Am I living according to my values?" This small change in thinking creates a completely different energy, because when your happiness depends on someone else, you become controlled by their behavior. Their mood controls your mood, their attention controls your confidence, their distance controls your peace. But when you return your power to yourself, something changes. You begin to love from freedom instead of fear. You begin to connect from strength instead of desperation. You begin to understand that someone's presence can add beauty to your life, but it should never become the foundation of your identity. A wise person knows someone can walk beside you, but no one should replace you. Your purpose, your growth, your character, and your inner peace must remain yours. Many people spend so much time trying to become unforgettable to someone else that they forget to build a life they themselves enjoy living. They forget their own dreams. They forget their own passions. They forget the person they were before they became focused only on being chosen. But when you practice detachment, you return home to yourself. You stop asking, "How can I make them stay?" And you begin asking, "Being proud to be." This is where real transformation begins, because people are naturally attracted to those who are complete within themselves. A person who needs constant validation carries a heavy energy. They are always searching, always waiting, always hoping someone else will fill a space inside them. But a person who has developed inner peace carries a different presence. They do not demand attention. They do not beg for love. They do not chase someone who continuously walks away. Not because they do not feel pain, but because they understand their own worth. Strength does not mean you never miss someone. Strength means you can miss someone without abandoning yourself. You can feel love without losing balance. You can care without becoming controlled. This is emotional mastery. Imagine a person standing beside the ocean. They appreciate the waves, they admire the beauty, they enjoy the sound, but they do not try to command the ocean. They understand that nature has its own rhythm. Relationships are similar. You can appreciate someone, you can love someone, you can support someone, but you cannot own someone's thoughts, feelings, or decisions. The moment you accept this truth, you become lighter. And when you become lighter, you become more powerful. Because desperation disappears, fear becomes quieter, your actions become calmer. You stop reacting to every small change. You stop searching for hidden meanings in every message. You stop creating stories in your mind that steal your peace. You begin living in reality. And reality is where true strength exists. A person who has mastered detachment creates a powerful paradox. The less they need someone to complete them, the more valuable their presence becomes. Why? Because people feel the difference between someone who chooses them and someone who depends on them. Choice feels like love. Dependence feels like pressure. The highest form of connection is when two complete individuals come together, not because they are empty alone, but because they appreciate sharing life together. This is the kind of energy that creates deep respect. Because respect grows when people see that you have your own foundation. A house without a strong foundation cannot survive storms. A person without inner stability cannot survive emotional challenges. So before you ask someone to value your presence, build a life where your own presence matters. Spend time improving yourself. Strengthen your mind. Develop your skills. Protect your peace. Create meaning beyond a relationship. Because the most attractive person is not the one who says, "Please do not leave me." It is the person who silently shows, "I appreciate you, but I will always remain connected to myself." And when you reach this state, something unexpected happens. You no longer chase love. You become capable of receiving real love. But there is another deeper layer. Because even after you regain your power through detachment, there is something that determines whether people remember you long after you leave their sight. It is not how much you gave. It is not how much you explained. It is the energy you carried when you were present. Become the person they remember through your energy and character. People often believe they are remembered because of what they say, but the truth is deeper. People remember how they felt around you. For words disappear, moments pass, but energy leaves an impression. Think about the people who have entered your life. Some people you remember because they made you feel peaceful. Some people you remember because they made you feel understood. Some people you remember because being around them gave you confidence. And some people you remember because their presence felt heavy. This teaches us an important lesson. Your greatest influence is not your appearance. It is not your ability to impress. It is the quality of energy you bring into the lives of others. A person who wants to be missed must first become meaningful. Not perfect, meaningful. Because perfection creates distance, but authenticity creates connection. A person with strong character does not try to perform a version of themselves just to be accepted. They are comfortable with who they are. They listen, they respect, they communicate honestly. They carry kindness without weakness. They carry confidence without arrogance. This balance creates a powerful presence. When you become someone who brings peace instead of chaos, people notice. When you become someone who brings understanding instead of judgment, people remember. When you become someone who respects themselves, others naturally begin to respect you. Your character becomes your silent message, and this is why personal growth is so important. Many people focus on techniques to make someone miss them. They search for the perfect message, the perfect timing, the perfect reaction, but they forget the foundation, the person behind the actions, because no technique can replace genuine inner development. A person can pretend to be confident for a moment, but true confidence comes from knowing yourself. A person can pretend not to care, but true peace comes when you no longer need to pretend. The goal is not to create an image. The goal is to become the reality. When you improve yourself, your relationships change because you change. You no longer enter connections looking for someone to complete you. You enter them as someone who already has something valuable to share. And this is when your presence becomes unforgettable, because people do not deeply miss someone who only provided attention. They miss someone who brought something rare. They miss peace. They miss authenticity. They miss emotional safety. They miss the feeling of being around someone who was truly present. This is the kind of value that cannot be forced. It must be developed, and the journey begins within. 5. Emotional discipline. Never let desperation control your actions. One of the greatest battles a person will ever fight is not against another person. It is the battle within their own mind. The moment emotions become stronger than wisdom, we begin to act in ways that do not represent who we truly are. We say things we regret. We chase things that are not meant for us. We seek answers from people who have already shown their intentions. We allow a temporary feeling to control a permanent decision. This is why emotional discipline is one of the highest forms of strength. A person who cannot control their emotions will always be controlled by something outside themselves. Their happiness depends on someone's message. Their confidence depends on someone's approval. Their peace depends on someone's attention. And when those things disappear, they feel lost. But a person who develops emotional discipline understands something powerful. Your emotions are a part of you, but they do not have to become your master. Feelings are like waves. They rise, they become powerful, they create movement. But every wave eventually returns to the ocean. The mistake many people make is that when a wave of emotion appears, they believe they must immediately act on it. They feel sadness, so they send a message. They feel fear, so they chase. They feel insecurity, so they seek reassurance. But wisdom creates a space between feeling and action. That small space is where your power exists. A person who has mastered themselves learns to pause. They ask, is this action coming from love or fear? Am I speaking because I have something meaningful to share, or because I am afraid of losing someone? Am I moving towards something valuable, or am I running away from my own insecurity? These questions change everything, because many people do not lose relationships because they lacked love. They lose relationships because fear controlled their behavior. They loved, but they loved from a place of anxiety. They cared, but they cared from a place of desperation. They wanted connection, but they forgot that true connection cannot grow where there is constant pressure. Imagine holding a bird in your hand. If you are calm and gentle, the bird feels safe. But if you squeeze too tightly because you are afraid it will fly away, your fear becomes the reason it leaves. Many relationships experience the same problem. The fear of losing someone creates the behavior that pushes them away. This is why emotional discipline matters. It allows you to respond instead of react. A reaction is automatic. A response is conscious. A reaction says, "You hurt me, so I must hurt you back." A response says, "I feel hurt, but I will choose my actions with wisdom." This difference separates emotional maturity from emotional chaos. The strongest people are not those who never feel pain. They feel deeply, they care deeply, they love deeply, but they have learned not to allow pain to control their identity. They understand that one person's behavior does not define their worth. Someone ignoring you does not mean you are unimportant. Someone leaving does not mean you are impossible to love. Someone failing to appreciate you does not mean you have no value. Sometimes people cannot recognize what is valuable because they are looking through their own limitations. A diamond does not become ordinary because someone does not understand its worth. Your responsibility is not to convince everyone to see your value. Your responsibility is to protect and develop it. This is where many people lose themselves. They spend endless energy trying to explain their goodness. They write long messages. They repeat their feelings. They ask, "Why don't you understand me? What?" But sometimes the most powerful answer is not another explanation. It is your calm behavior, because actions reveal what words cannot. A person with emotional discipline does not need to announce, "I respect myself." They demonstrate it. They demonstrate it by walking away from disrespect. They demonstrate it by refusing to beg for basic kindness. They demonstrate it by choosing peace over unnecessary conflict. This does not mean they become heartless. It means they become balanced. There is a difference between having a soft heart and having weak boundaries. A soft heart allows you to love. Strong boundaries allow you to protect that love. Without boundaries, even beautiful things can be damaged. A garden needs water, but it also needs protection. A person needs love, but they also need self-respect. Emotional discipline teaches you this balance. It teaches you that you can care for someone while still caring for yourself. You can forgive someone without allowing them to repeatedly hurt you. You can miss someone without chasing them. You can love someone without losing your own direction. This is true inner power, because the easiest thing in the world is to react. Anyone can react when they are angry. Anyone can send a message when they are lonely. Anyone can chase when they are afraid. But it takes strength to remain centered. It takes wisdom to stay peaceful when your emotions are asking you to create chaos. A calm mind sees what an emotional mind cannot see. When you are desperate, you only see what you want. When you are peaceful, you see what is real. And reality gives you freedom. Many people are searching for ways to make someone miss them. But the deeper lesson is this: become someone who does not disappear into another person's attention. Become someone who remains valuable even in silence. Because when you control yourself, you change the energy you bring into every relationship. You stop appearing as someone who needs to be chosen. You become someone who chooses wisely. And this is when people begin to feel something different about you. They sense your confidence. They sense your stability. They sense that your happiness is no longer something they can control. And this creates a different kind of respect. Because people naturally respect those who respect themselves. But emotional discipline is only the beginning. Because controlling your reactions protects your peace. Yet there is a deeper level of strength. A level where your entire life becomes so grounded that people feel your value without you needing to prove anything. That is where true self-respect begins. 6. The highest attraction comes from self-respect and inner peace. There is a powerful truth that many people discover only after experiencing pain. The way others treat you often begins with the way you treat yourself. Many people spend their lives asking, "Why don't they value me? Why don't they respect my feelings? Why do they take me for granted? But they rarely ask the deeper question. Have I shown myself the respect I am asking others to give me? Because the relationship you have with yourself becomes the example you teach others. If you constantly ignore your own needs, others may learn that your needs are not important. If you repeatedly accept things that hurt you, others may believe that your boundaries are flexible. If you always sacrifice your peace just to keep someone close, you silently communicate that losing yourself is acceptable. But the moment you develop self-respect, everything begins to change. Self-respect is not arrogance. It is not thinking you are better than others. It is not refusing to admit mistakes. Self-respect is simply the understanding that your own mind, your own heart, and your own life have value. A person with self-respect does not need to prove their worth. They carry it, like a tree that does not need to announce that it is strong. Its roots show its strength. Its ability to stand through storms shows its strength. In the same way, a person's character reveals their value. Many people believe attraction comes from appearance, words, or trying to impress someone. But deeper attraction comes from something much quieter. It comes from the energy of a person who is comfortable within themselves, someone who does not constantly seek approval, someone who can be alone without feeling empty, someone who can love without becoming dependent, someone who can walk away from what destroys their peace. This kind of person creates a different feeling because peace is rare. In a world full of noise, emotional reactions, and constant searching for attention, a calm person becomes unforgettable. Think about the people you naturally trust. Usually, it is not the person who talks the most. It is not the person who tries hardest to impress. It is often the person who makes you feel safe. Their presence gives you a sense of stability. Their words have weight because their actions match them. Their confidence does not come from needing everyone to agree with them. It comes from knowing who they are. This is the power of inner peace. Inner peace means your happiness is no longer controlled by every external situation. Someone can misunderstand you and you remain calm. Someone can reject you and you remember your value. Someone can leave your life and you still continue growing. This does not mean you feel nothing. A peaceful person still experiences sadness. A strong person still feels disappointment. A wise person still experiences pain. But they do not allow temporary pain to destroy permanent wisdom. They understand that every situation is a teacher. Every challenge reveals something. Every ending creates space for something new. A person without inner peace sees every loss as destruction. A person with inner peace sees every loss as transformation. This difference changes the entire way you live. When you have self-respect, you stop begging for what should be given naturally. You stop asking someone to choose you while they continuously show that they will not. You stop trying to convince someone of your importance because you understand something. Your value does not decrease because someone fails to recognize it. A person who does not appreciate a sunrise does not make the sunrise less beautiful. A person who does not understand music does not make the melody less meaningful. A person who does not recognize your value does not remove your value. This understanding creates freedom. Because many people are trapped by the opinions of others, they change their personality, they hide their feelings, they abandon their standards, all because they are afraid someone will leave. But what kind of connection requires you to disappear? What kind of love requires you to become smaller? Real connection does not ask you to destroy yourself. Real connection allows you to become more yourself. The right people do not need you to lose your identity. They appreciate your identity. This is why self-respect is the highest form of attraction. Because when you respect yourself, you naturally become selective. You no longer accept every situation. You no longer chase every person. You no longer give unlimited access to people who bring confusion into your life. Not because you hate them, because you value peace. And peace is something you cannot replace. Many people spend years searching for someone who will bring them peace, while they continue creating chaos inside themselves. They look outside for what must first be developed within. A person who is constantly fighting themselves will struggle to experience healthy relationships. But a person who has made peace with themselves brings peace wherever they go. This is the person people remember, not because they demanded attention, but because they created a feeling that was difficult to replace. They brought calmness, They brought understanding, they brought authenticity, and these qualities stay in the heart long after physical presence disappears. Because the strongest impression is not created by how often someone sees you. It is created by how deeply they experience you. A person who has self-respect understands that their energy is valuable. They do not give it everywhere. They do not waste it trying to convince people. They invest it where growth, respect, and appreciation exist. This is not selfish. This is wisdom. Even a candle cannot continue giving light if it burns itself completely away. You must protect your own flame, your mind, your health, your dreams, your peace. Because when you protect yourself, you become capable of giving from abundance instead of exhaustion. And this creates a powerful transformation. You stop searching for someone to complete your life. You start building a life that someone would be grateful to join. This is the difference between needing someone and choosing someone. Need comes from fear. Choice comes from strength. A person who chooses you freely is far more valuable than a person who stays because you convinced them. Love should be a meeting of two peaceful souls, not a rescue mission between two wounded hearts. And when you reach this level of self-respect, something beautiful happens. You become less focused on being missed. You become focused on being meaningful. Because being missed is temporary, but being meaningful leaves a lasting impact. A person may forget conversations, they may forget details, but they rarely forget how someone made them feel. And this is why your inner world matters more than your external strategies. You can learn how to communicate better. You can learn how to build stronger relationships. You can learn how to create deeper connections. But everything begins with the foundation, the relationship you have with yourself. Because if your foundation is weak, no relationship can carry the weight. But if your foundation is strong, you become steady through every season of life. You become someone who does not collapse when attention disappears. You become someone who does not lose themselves when love becomes uncertain. You become someone who can stand peacefully whether someone is beside you or not. And that is true power. A person who reaches this level understands one final wisdom. The goal was never to make someone fear losing you. The goal was to become someone who never abandons yourself. Because when you never abandon yourself, you naturally become someone others recognize, respect, and remember. The person who values their own presence creates a presence that others value. And this is where the deepest attraction begins. Not with chasing, not with proving, not with pretending, but with becoming whole.